This is a children's book, The Tattooed Torah, which I wrote, illustrated by Lemmelman, published by the Union of Reformed Congregations. Ages 4.5 and up. This is the story of a little tattooed Torah. It was always little, but not always tattooed. Many, many years ago, before you were born, little Torah lived in a handsome wooden Aron Kodesh, an ark, that had an embroidered velvet parochet, curtain. Next to little Torah in the Aron Kodesh stood several big Torahs, wearing soft velvet mantles of scarlet, purple, and blue. Some big Torahs had silver crowns. Other Torahs had silver bells that made a gentle jingling sound when the Torahs were taken out of the ark on Shabbat and other holidays. How sweetly the bells chimed when the grown-ups hugged the Torahs lovingly in their arms and marched with them through the synagogue. Every bar mitzvah wanted to carry little Torah in the procession and read his Torah portion from it. Shabbat after Shabbat, holiday after holiday, year after year, little Torah was held by a child marching in the procession, and little Torah was very proud. But one day, everything changed. Little Torah heard a different kind of marching sound. It was not the sound of Jewish people marching into the synagogue to pray. It was not the sound of people marching in a Torah service, holding the Torahs and singing Hebrew songs. It was loud, mean marching, with loud, mean talk. An evil man, Adolf Hitler, had started a war. His Nazi soldiers marched into Brno, Czechoslovakia, little Torah's city. The Nazis closed all the synagogues. They ordered that all the Torahs, the mantles, and other religious items be sent to the city of Prague. Little Torah was thrown on the pile of big Torahs in the back of a dark truck. As the truck rumbled out of town, little Torah asked tearfully, "How could such a terrible thing happen to Torahs?" Many hours later, the truck stopped in Prague, which the Nazis had invaded. They placed the Torahs in the Michle synagogue, which had been turned into a warehouse. Hundreds of Torahs from all over Czechoslovakia were collected there. The Nazis forced workers to tattoo a number on the bottom roller of each Torah, and then, in a book, they listed the number of each Torah and the town from which it came. Little Torah was so angry. "They have no right to tattoo a Torah. A Torah is the most precious possession of the Jewish people." Just then, a Nazi soldier grabbed little Torah. He ordered a worker to paint a number on the bottom of one of its wooden rollers and attach a tag to the other. Then little Torah was put on a rough wooden shelf. Every day, little Torah saw Nazi soldiers march into the warehouse and deliver truckloads of Torahs. The workers added more tattoos, more tags, and wrote the numbers in the book. One day, the marching stopped. The war was over. The Nazis were gone. But little Torah and all the other Torahs remained in the warehouse. They lay on damp, dusty, dirty shelves for many years until they were rescued and sent in sealed railroad cars to a synagogue in London, England. Many years later in America, a little Jewish boy came home from religious school and said to his father, "Daddy, I can't lift the Torah at services. It's too big and heavy for me." His daddy answered, "Oh, I'm so glad you told me. That gives me an idea. Now I know what to give your school for a tzedakah gift. I will look for a small, child-sized Torah." He asked many people where he could find a small Torah. Someone told him that Torahs were available from the Westminster Synagogue in London. He flew there and met Mrs. Ruth Schaffer, who was in charge of the Torah. She took him into a big room. There in front of him were more than 1,500 Torahs on rough wooden racks. One Torah was wrapped in an old torn talit, and another was tied with a child's belt. Many were damaged because they had not been unrolled for over 20 years. He stood there and couldn't believe his eyes. "Where did you get all these Torahs?" he asked. Then Mrs. Schaffer told him what the Nazis had done. He went closer to look at the Torahs. He saw the numbers on the bottom of their rollers. "How could anyone do this to Torahs?" he asked, and tears were rolling down his cheeks. He stood there crying for a long time. "Torahs don't belong in a warehouse," he said. "They belong in synagogues. They need to be used and read from and studied." "It's just what we do," said Mrs. Schaffer. "The Westminster Synagogue sends these Torahs to Jewish congregations and day schools all over the world." Well, he looked around the storeroom, and he stopped when he saw a little Torah. He took it down from the shelf and saw the number 32804 on its roller. In the record book, he discovered that little Torah came from Brno. Holding little Torah in his arms, he knew that his son and the other children would be able to carry little Torah easily. He wrapped the little Torah in brown, thick paper to protect it. After boarding the plane in London, he buckled little Torah into the seat next to him. "From now on, little Torah, we will always take good care of you," he promised. Oh, little Torah was so happy now. He thought, "Oh, soon I'll be in the arms of a Jewish child, carrying me in the procession." Back home, Mr. Weil had a red velvet mantle made especially to fit little Torah. It was decorated with a gold Jewish star and the word Zachor, remember. Oh, how handsome little Torah felt inside its new mantle and Aron Kodesh home. The school principal invited all the children, all the teachers, their parents, the grandparents, to a special service in honor of their new Torah. Oh, little Torah shivered with excitement as it was taken from the ark and carried in procession all around the school. It was handed to two of the young children to read from it. At the end of the service, little Torah was placed in the Aron Kodesh, and then Mr. Weil then told everyone the story of the tattooed Torah. Listening from its new home, little Torah sighed with happiness. "And now, children," he said, "the little tattooed is yours. May it dwell forever in this house of love and learning." And all the children and all the grown-ups said, Amen.